While I'm all about helping people get into cybersecurity, I think there are people who shouldn't work in cybersecurity. In this video, I'll share with you 5 red flags to look out for if you are considering your career in cybersecurity. I've been working in network security and cybersecurity for over 20 years now. When I started my career, I didn't have any mentors. I made so many mistakes, hence I decided to make this video to be the mentor that I never had and to help you avoid making the same mistakes that I made. Many years ago, when I was in university, I was very impressed by networks, firewalls and network security world. I was fascinated with Cisco products. I used to watch movies about crimes and how the law enforcement agencies worked to catch those criminals. I even used to read the forums and read magazines. I did everything in my power to become a qualified security professional. I did numerous learning and certification. I'm a hands-on professional who has made his hand dirty working in this security domain. I did the courses, I practiced on my own, I practiced on labs. But now I work in cybersecurity where I design cybersecurity solutions and consult senior management. Welcome to your channel, Your Cyber Stop, where you will learn everything about security in a simple way. My name is Hemant, your security trainer, and for more information about me, please visit my LinkedIn profile. So the first thing that I want you to look out for is self-learning. If you're not a self-learner, if you don't like the process of self-learning, of doing certification on your own, if you don't like the idea of studying after work, especially when you are starting out, you really need to embrace the idea of self-study. You need to look out for training courses, you need to look out for certifications. You need to do videos or practice on your own lab. So this is something that's really important in cybersecurity. No one will spoon feed you the knowledge. You actually have to learn it on your own, and that can happen through certification, maybe through on-job experience or in any number of ways. But if you are someone who don't like self-learning, if you don't like self-studying, maybe cybersecurity is not really for you. Like I have friends who are in HR, finances, who are doctors and lawyers, and they can't really grasp the idea that after work we go home and open a laptop and we study, and we pay training courses and we do certification. For them, everything they learned was in university, and sometimes they do conferences. They do something similar to an internship, the way they go in another hospital and they shadow someone. But we don't really have these things in cybersecurity. They are very rare, so we need to really embrace the self-learning. And if you don't like it, then maybe cybersecurity is not for you. The second red flag to look out for is if you are someone who lacks recognition. If you like to get a pat on your back when you do good job, or if you like your boss to tell you that you are doing an amazing job, or if you like your colleagues to celebrate with you, then cybersecurity may not be for you. And this is something I notice a lot, especially with fresh grads or people who have just finished their universities, and that can be a shock for them, especially if you are a student or an overachiever in school and university. You're probably used to your parents or to your teachers telling you how good you are and how great which you are. In cybersecurity, it doesn't quite work that way, because the things that we do in cybersecurity, we tell people not to do things, and we go to other teams and we ask them to do an extra work on top of their job. So they are usually not really happy with us. And sometimes when you stop big cyber attacks, yes, you may get some recognition, but sometimes you may get blamed into why did we get this attack. You are a cybersecurity professional and you are supposed to stop such kind of things. So working in cybersecurity, you need to not expect people to give you praise or to give you a pat on your back, and that can be frustrating. And I understand that, and as a senior person in my team, I always give recognition for people who work with me. This is something that you need to expect, and if you don't like it, maybe you should consider working in something like software development, where you develop a program and people use it. Unlike it, maybe you get some recognition, but definitely not in cybersecurity. The third red flag that you need to be wary of is if you don't enjoy working in chaotic environments. Now this one is a little bit subtle and it takes people some time to adjust to. Let me explain. So sometimes I have a junior people who have just moved to cybersecurity from maybe an IT or from completely different careers, and they usually come to me and ask me, hey, What's the official procedure to responding to an incident, or what's the process of doing a risk assessment, or tell me a step-by-step guide into how can we do vulnerability management, or a number of things. The only problem is if we don't always have a procedure or step-by-step guide to do things. Yes, sometimes for an easy things we document and we may have a process, but you really need to learn to think on your own. You need to think on the spot, and you need to embrace that things are different. No two cyber attacks are same. Like, even if I give you a step-by-step guide for you on how to respond to a malware, you may be surprised that the guide may not work for that particular malware that you are working with, or maybe the circumstances and that incidents are different. So if you are someone who always looking out for a structure or always expecting things to be in a certain way, you may not enjoy working in cybersecurity. It is very chaotic type of role. Yes, you may work in a big team where you know you are doing one thing and you know there is repetition, but most environments are not like that. In most environments, one day you'll be working on a DLP and the next day you'll be working on a malware, and then later on forensics. So it's constantly changing, and that can be challenging, but this is something to be expected. In cybersecurity, I personally like the chaos. I enjoy the fact that I don't get to the same thing twice. I like variety, I like change, but some people struggle with that. Like, I remember one of my colleague who was to whom I was mentoring. He moved to cybersecurity from a criminal law background. So in the law, he was used to structure for everything. He was used to a hierarchy, and when he came here, he really struggled. He moved into cybersecurity because things were all over the place, and he was getting frustrated because we didn't had documented procedures. We didn't have things in order, and I tried to help him, but eventually he just got frustrated and left. So if you want to come into cyber security field, you have to embrace a chaotic environment. If you don't like to work in chaotic environment, it's a big no for you. The fourth red flag that you need to watch out for, and that's probably my favorite thing, is if you expect that cybersecurity is as exciting as it is portrayed in the movies or in TV shows, you are up for a nasty surprise. Cybersecurity is not at all an action-packed career. Cybersecurity is an office job. Yes, you may have moments of excitement. You may have to respond to some sophisticated attacks. You may work with cyber criminals, but the fact is, it is not like what you see in the movies. A lot of our time is spent on spreadsheet or SIM tools or configuring Splunk corresponding to incidents, or even in meetings. Most of my day sometimes gets spent on meetings or influencing stakeholders or responding to emails. It is not an action-packed job where you will constantly fight with criminals and you are wearing a hoodie. It's a job, it's just a job, it's a cool job, it's a good job if you enjoy the day-to-day task. But it's definitely not what portrayed in cybercrime movies or Mr. Robot or any other movies. And you'd be surprised how many people told me that they work in cybersecurity because they were influenced by a TV show or a movie. Sometimes they don't like to admit that, but the more you know them, they'll talk about it, and they'll talk how they were surprised that it's different than this movie or different than this particular TV show. And look, this is the truth. The real world is nothing like the movies, and it goes without saying, but I thought it's important to know that if you have a certain idea about cybersecurity in your mind because of these movies, I think it's best to talk to people who already work in this field. Maybe ask them to shadow them, maybe talk to them and ask them to tell you how the job is. Have a coffee with them and you'd be surprised. People are usually happy to tell you what they do, but as a precaution, don't expect it to be an action-filled job. If that's what you're looking for, then probably cybersecurity is not for you now. The fifth red flag to look at for is money. If you're in cybersecurity to make money, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, you may be a little bit disappointed, and I've actually seen that. You go on to search for jobs and you see many crazy salaries. Some salaries are even 300k plus or 200k or whichever it is. If you are just in it for the money, you may hate the day-to-day job. Yes, you will enjoy getting a high salary, especially later on when you have more experience, when you have something to offer, you will get high salary. But the salary is just a number on your bank account. What really important is how you spend your day-to-day work. The people you work with and your boss and your environment, the day-to-day task. If you hate those tasks, then no amount of money will make it worthwhile. Trust me, I've been there. I've seen people get high salaries, they chase titles, they chase salaries. They keep changing jobs to get a better salary and better titles. But when you talk to them, they are constantly depressed. They are constantly upset, they hate their job, they are bored. They don't like it, and you just have to question them, why did you choose this career? Is it the fancy title? Is it the fancy salary? Make sure you like the job, or it is something you at least be passionate about. You don't have to be crazy about the job. You don't have to spend every walking moment thinking about your work. You don't have to be in love with your cybersecurity, but at least don't hate the job. Don't dread your day-to-day work. If you find it boring, then maybe look out for something you are interested in, and trust me, money will follow. If you love programming, for example, you can be a software developer, and then later on you can make a lot of money. If you are good, or maybe you can work in the medical field, or you can work in the law enforcement. There are so many things to do. You don't have to work in a cybersecurity just because the title and the salaries are good or there is a high demand. Choose something that you are genuinely interested in. That's it for today. Thanks for watching our video. 5 reasons cybersecurity profession is not for you. If you found this information interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. This is Hemant signing off for now. Until next time, stay secure, stay savvy.